Hello, and welcome to this space of transformative discovery. Take a deep breath and allow your mind to open to one of the greatest ironies of human existence. Relax your shoulders, release any tension, and prepare to explore a paradox that has confused and frustrated millions of people around the world. Imagine for a moment that the key to manifesting everything you desire, financial abundance, deep relationships, vibrant health, your dream career, lasting inner peace, not only exists, but is surprisingly simple. So simple that a child could understand it and apply it with natural ease. What if I told you that this key doesn't require years of study, complex techniques, elaborate rituals, or special abilities that only a few enlightened individuals possess? Now imagine that despite this fundamental simplicity, the vast majority of people, including those who have spent years studying manifestation, the law of attraction, and personal development, never actually practice it. They know the theory, can quote the principles, can even teach others about manifestation. But when it comes to actual practice, they consistently do exactly the opposite of what works. Why does this happen? Why does something so simple become so complicated? Why do people transform a natural and efficient process into a complex and frustrating struggle? And more importantly, how can you finally break this pattern and start manifesting with the ease and naturalness that have always been your birthright? For decades, the personal development industry has complicated manifestation with elaborate techniques, secret formulas, and methods that promise quick results through more effort, more visualization, more affirmations, more action. We've created a culture where manifestation has become hard work, where people feel inadequate if they're not constantly doing something to attract their desires. But what would happen if you discovered that all this complexity is not only unnecessary, but actually interferes with the natural manifestation process? That the very attempt to make manifestation happen is often what prevents it from occurring? In the next few moments, we're going to uncover the true simplicity of quantum manifestation and explore why this simplicity is simultaneously the easiest and most difficult thing to practice. We'll discover the psychological, cultural, and emotional obstacles that prevent us from applying what we know, and more importantly, we'll learn how to return to the efficient naturalness of authentic manifestation. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about creating your reality. Prepare to discover that manifestation isn't something you do, but something you allow. And prepare to finally understand why the simplest thing in the world can seem the most difficult to master. To truly understand why quantum manifestation is so simple, yet so rarely practiced correctly, we first need to clarify what manifestation really is at its most fundamental level. Because most of the confusion and complication arises from basic misunderstandings about the nature of the process. Manifestation isn't about convincing a reluctant universe to give you something it doesn't want to give. It's not about overcoming cosmic resistance through willpower or special techniques. It's not about proving you're worthy or working hard enough to deserve your blessings. And it's definitely not about manipulating energies or forcing results through complex rituals. Manifestation, in its purest essence, is simply the natural process through which consciousness becomes physical experience. It's how your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and expectations translate into the reality you experience. It's as natural and inevitable as breathing. You're manifesting constantly every moment, whether you're conscious of it or not. Quantum physics shows us that at the most fundamental level of reality, everything exists as probability waves until consciousness collapses those waves into specific experiences. Your thoughts and emotions aren't private events happening only inside your head. They're energy fields that interact with the quantum field, influencing which possibilities become reality. This means you're already a perfect manifester. You're manifesting exactly according to your dominant vibration, your deepest beliefs, and your habitual emotional patterns. If your current life doesn't reflect your conscious desires, it's not because you're bad at manifestation. It's because there's a disconnect between what you think you want and what you actually believe is possible or appropriate for you. The simplicity of quantum manifestation can be summarized in 3 fundamental elements: vibrational clarity, emotional alignment, and conscious permission. That's it. There's nothing else you need to do, learn, or master. Vibrational clarity means knowing what you truly want, not just intellectually, but at a deep, energetic level. It means having a clear and specific vision that resonates with your authentic being, not with external expectations or ego-based desires. When you have true vibrational clarity, you can feel the reality of your desire in your body, as if it were already real. Emotional alignment means feeling good about your desire and about yourself in relation to it. It means releasing resistance, doubt, fear, and feelings of unworthiness that create contradictions in your vibrational field. When you're emotionally aligned, thinking about your desire brings joy, excitement, gratitude, and a sense of expansion. Conscious permission means letting go of the need to control how, when, and through what means your desire will manifest. It means trusting the process and allowing universal intelligence to orchestrate the details. When you're in conscious permission, you take inspired action when it arises naturally, but you don't force or push for results. When these 3 elements are present, manifestation happens naturally and often with an ease that can seem almost magical. There's no struggle, no excessive effort, no complicated techniques. You simply hold the vision, feel good about it, and allow it to unfold. So, if it's so simple, why do so few people manage to do it consistently? The answer lies in the layers of conditioning, programming, and limiting beliefs that obscure our natural ability to manifest. We've been taught that life is hard, that we need to struggle for everything, that we don't deserve good things without suffering, and that the universe is a scarce place where we need to compete for limited resources. These beliefs create vibrational resistance that interferes with the natural manifestation process. It's like trying to tune into a clear radio station while there's static interference. The signal is there, but you can't receive it clearly due to the noise. Additionally, our culture values complexity and effort. We've been conditioned to believe that if something is easy, it can't be valuable or effective. So when we encounter the simplicity of authentic manifestation, our mind immediately rejects it as too simple to work and seeks more complicated methods that seem more legitimate. We've also been taught to trust external action more than internal alignment. Our society rewards doing and often ignores or devalues being. So when quantum manifestation tells us to focus first on internal alignment and then allow inspired actions to arise naturally, it goes against everything we've learned about achieving goals. Another factor is that quantum manifestation requires a fundamental identity shift from someone who doesn't have to someone who already is. This can be uncomfortable because it challenges our familiar identity, even if that identity is limiting. It's easier to maintain known patterns of struggle and limitation than to embrace a new reality of ease and abundance. Finally, there's what we can call complexity addiction. Many people have become addicted to the drama and struggle of trying to manifest. They get a sense of purpose and identity from constantly working on their goals, studying new techniques, and overcoming obstacles. The simplicity of authentic manifestation can seem boring compared to the excitement of constant effort. All these factors combine to create a situation where people intellectually know how to manifest, but unconsciously sabotage their own efforts through resistance, unnecessary complication, and attachment to familiar patterns of struggle. The good news is that once you recognize these patterns, you can begin to consciously choose simplicity over complexity, alignment over effort, and permission over control. You can return to the efficient naturalness of manifestation that has always been your birthright. Now that we understand the fundamental simplicity of quantum manifestation and why it's so rarely practiced, let's explore the specific obstacles that prevent people from applying what they know. Because recognizing these obstacles is the first step to transcending them and finally beginning to manifest with the natural ease that's possible. The first and perhaps most pervasive obstacle is what we can call excessive effort syndrome. Our culture has conditioned us so deeply to associate value with effort that we automatically assume that if something is important, it must be difficult. When it comes to manifestation, this translates into an unconscious belief that if you're not struggling, working hard, or using complex techniques, you're not really trying to manifest. This syndrome leads people to unnecessarily complicate the manifestation process. They add layers of techniques, rituals, and practices that are not only unnecessary but often create resistance. It's like trying to force a flower to bloom faster by pulling its petals. The extra effort actually interferes with the natural process. Quantum manifestation works best when there's a quality of ease and flow. When you're trying too hard, you're operating from a vibration of not having, which is exactly the opposite of the already having vibration that attracts manifestations. Excessive effort signals to the universe that you believe you need to struggle to get what you want, and the universe responds by creating more situations that require struggle. The second obstacle is magic technique syndrome. Many people believe there's a secret technique, special formula, or specific method that, once discovered, will make manifestation work automatically. They spend years jumping from technique to technique, always searching for the silver bullet that will finally solve all their manifestation problems. This search for the perfect technique is actually a way of avoiding the real work of manifestation, which is internal alignment. It's easier to learn a new technique than to confront and transform deep limiting beliefs. It's more comfortable to focus on external methods than to do the internal work of healing emotional wounds and expanding self-worth. The truth is, there's no magic technique because manifestation isn't about technique. It's about state of being. Any technique is only effective to the extent that it helps you achieve and maintain the appropriate vibrational state. Once you understand this, you realize you can manifest with or without specific techniques. The third obstacle is results addiction. Many people become so focused on the specific results they want that they lose sight of the alignment process that actually creates those results. They constantly check whether their manifestations are working, become impatient when results don't appear quickly, and feel discouraged if things don't manifest exactly as expected. This obsessive focus on results creates a vibration of lack and impatience that repels what you're trying to attract. It's like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to check if it's growing. The act of constantly checking interferes with the natural growth process. Quantum manifestation requires what we can call conscious detachment. You care deeply about your desires, but you're not attached to specific results or specific timelines. You hold the vision, feel the joy of anticipation, and then trust that the universe will deliver in perfect timing and in the perfect way. The fourth obstacle is unworthiness syndrome. Many people carry deep beliefs that they don't deserve good things, that they need to suffer to grow, or that it's selfish or spiritually incorrect to desire material abundance. These beliefs create vibrational resistance that blocks manifestations, no matter how perfectly they execute specific techniques. Unworthiness is often so deeply rooted that people don't even realize they have it. They may consciously believe they deserve abundance, but unconsciously sabotage themselves whenever they get close to actually receiving it. They may manifest up to a certain point, but then something always goes wrong to bring them back to the level of abundance they unconsciously believe they deserve. Healing unworthiness requires compassionate work with the parts of you that learn to feel undeserving. It often involves forgiving past experiences, questioning cultural and family messages about worth and deservingness, and consciously choosing to see yourself as worthy of love, abundance, and joy. The fifth obstacle is fear of success. While this may seem contradictory, many people unconsciously fear achieving what they say they want. They fear that success will change their identity, that people will see them differently, that they'll lose connections with family and friends, or that they won't be able to handle the responsibility that comes with abundance. This fear creates a subtle but powerful resistance that sabotages manifestation efforts. The person may do everything right, technically, but a part of them is constantly pulling the energetic emergency brake, preventing the manifestation from completing. Overcoming fear of success requires honestly examining what you believe will change if you get what you want. What are your fears about how your life will be different? How can you address these concerns in a way that allows you to receive abundance without sacrificing what's truly important to you? The sixth obstacle is comparison syndrome. Many people measure their manifestation progress by comparing themselves to others, especially to those who seem to manifest easily or who already have what they want. This comparison often leads to feelings of inadequacy, frustration, and doubt about their own abilities. Comparison is particularly destructive to manifestation because it creates a vibration of not having and not being enough. When you're focused on what others have that you don't have, you're reinforcing exactly the reality you want to change. Each person has their own unique journey, their own timing, and their own lessons to learn. What appears to be easy manifestation for another person may be the result of years of internal work that you don't see. Comparing your internal journey to another person's external appearance is always a recipe for unnecessary suffering. The seventh obstacle is forced action syndrome. Many people believe they must constantly be doing something to manifest their desires. They feel guilty if they're not taking action, even when they don't feel inspired to do so. This leads to a quality of action that's forced, heavy, and often counterproductive. Quantum manifestation distinguishes between inspired action and forced action. Inspired action arises naturally from a state of alignment and feels fluid and energizing. Forced action comes from a belief that you should do something and often feels heavy and draining. When you're truly aligned with your desires, inspired actions arise naturally. You don't need to force them or create them artificially. Trusting this process requires faith that the universe will guide you to the right actions at the right time. Recognizing these obstacles in your own experience is the first step to transcending them. Most people have at least some of these patterns operating in their lives, and many have several of them simultaneously. The good news is that once you become aware of these patterns, you can begin to consciously choose different responses. The work of quantum manifestation isn't about adding more techniques or effort. It's about removing the obstacles that prevent your natural state of alignment and receptivity from functioning. It's about returning to the simplicity that was always available, but was obscured by layers of conditioning and complication. Now that we've identified the main obstacles that prevent effective quantum manifestation practice, let's explore how to return to the natural simplicity that makes manifestation not just possible, but inevitable. Because once you remove the obstacles and embrace authentic simplicity, manifesting becomes as natural as breathing. The first step to returning to simplicity is what I call conscious unlearning. This means consciously releasing the layers of complex techniques, limiting beliefs, and excessive effort patterns that you've accumulated over the years. It's like cleaning a mirror that's been covered with dust. You're not adding something new. You're removing what obscures the natural clarity. Start by taking an honest inventory of all the techniques, practices, and beliefs about manifestation that you currently hold. Ask yourself, is this helping me feel more aligned and in flow, or is it creating more complexity and effort? If a practice isn't contributing to your sense of ease and alignment, consider releasing it, at least temporarily. This can be challenging because our mind often equates doing less with trying less. But in quantum manifestation, doing less often results in manifesting more, because you remove the resistance that was interfering with the natural process. The second step is returning to what I call essential clarity. Instead of having a long list of specific desires, identify the essence of what you truly want. For example, instead of focusing on a specific car, a specific house, and a specific amount of money, you might recognize that the essence of what you want is freedom, security, and the ability to express your creativity. When you focus on essence instead of specifics, you allow the universe to be more creative in how it delivers your desires. You might receive exactly what you asked for, or you might receive something even better that satisfies the essence of your desire in ways you never imagined. Essential clarity also makes it easier to maintain emotional alignment because you're not attached to specific details that may or may not manifest exactly as you imagined. The third step is cultivating what I call the already having state. This is the most fundamental secret of quantum manifestation, and also the most misunderstood. It's not about pretending you already have something physically when you clearly don't. It's about accessing the emotional and energetic feeling of already having what you desire. At the quantum level, the reality you experience is determined by your dominant vibration. If you're constantly vibrating at the frequency of wanting or needing, you continue creating more situations of wanting and needing. But when you can genuinely access the vibration of having, you attract experiences that match that vibration. To practice the already having state, spend time regularly imagining how you would feel if your desires were already reality. Don't focus on external circumstances, but on the emotional quality of the experience. How would you feel waking up every day? How would you move through the world? What kind of energy would you radiate? Practice accessing this feeling for a few minutes every day, not as a technique to get something, but simply to enjoy the experience of feeling abundant, loved, free, or whatever the essence of what you desire is. The fourth step is developing what I call relaxed trust. This means trusting that the universe is working in your favor, even when you can't see external evidence of it. It's a quality of faith that's not based on results, but on a deep understanding of the benevolent nature of reality. Relaxed trust allows you to release the need to control how and when your manifestations appear. You can hold your vision and take inspired action without the frantic energy of trying to force results. To develop relaxed trust, start by noticing the small ways the universe is already supporting you. Observe the synchronicities, the opportunities that arise, the ways your needs are being met. The more you recognize the support you're already receiving, the easier it becomes to trust in future support. The fifth step is practicing what I call consistent inspired action. This means taking actions that arise naturally from your state of alignment, rather than actions you force because you think you should do them. Inspired action has a specific quality. It feels fluid, energizing, and aligned. Even when it's challenging, there's a sense of yes in your body when you think about doing it. Forced action, on the other hand, often feels heavy, obligatory, or like something you're doing to avoid negative consequences. To recognize inspired action, practice tuning into your body and intuition before making decisions. Ask yourself, is this action coming from a place of alignment and inspiration, or from a place of fear and obligation? Trust your gut response. The sixth step is cultivating what I call anticipatory gratitude. This means being grateful not just for what you already have, but also for what's on its way. It's a form of gratitude that recognizes that your manifestations already exist at the energetic level and are simply organizing themselves to appear in your physical reality. Anticipatory gratitude is different from hope because there's no doubt or anxiety in it. It's a calm and joyful sense of recognition that what you desire is already in motion toward you. Practice anticipatory gratitude by saying things like, "I'm so grateful for this perfect opportunity that's manifesting," or "Thank you for this loving relationship that's entering my life." Feel the truth of these statements in your body, even if you don't yet see physical evidence. The seventh step is embracing what I call divine timing. This means trusting that your manifestations will appear at the perfect moment, even if that timing doesn't match your preferences or expectations. The universe has access to information and perspectives that your conscious mind doesn't have. It can see connections, opportunities, and synchronicities that are beyond your current perception. When you trust divine timing, you allow your manifestations to unfold in ways that are often more elegant and beneficial than you could have planned. To practice divine timing, release rigid timelines and expectations about when things should happen. Instead, maintain your vision and alignment while remaining open to timing that serves your highest good. Finally, the eighth step is maintaining what I call joyful simplicity. This means approaching manifestation with lightness, fun, and curiosity, instead of heavy seriousness and intense effort. When manifestation becomes hard work, you've lost the essence of the process. Quantum manifestation works best when there's a quality of playfulness and experimentation. It's like a dance with the universe, not a negotiation or struggle. Allow yourself to enjoy the manifestation process. Celebrate small signs of progress. Laugh when things unfold in unexpected ways. Maintain a sense of wonder about the infinite possibilities that are available to you. When you integrate these 8 steps, manifestation becomes not just possible, but natural and inevitable. You return to your natural state of alignment and receptivity, and the universe can work through you with ease and grace. Remember, the simplicity of quantum manifestation isn't about being simplistic or naive. It's about recognizing that nature's most powerful processes are often the simplest. A seed doesn't struggle to become a tree, it simply follows its essential nature. Similarly, you don't need to struggle to manifest. You only need to align with your essential nature as a creative and receptive being. As we explore the simplicity of quantum manifestation and the obstacles that prevent us from practicing it, it's crucial to address one of the biggest resistances people face: the belief that if something is simple, it can't be powerful or effective. This belief is so deeply rooted in our culture that it deserves dedicated exploration. We live in a society that equates complexity with sophistication, difficulty with value, and effort with merit. From childhood, we're taught that nothing worthwhile is easy and that we must work hard to achieve anything meaningful. These beliefs create deep psychological resistance to the idea that manifestation, something as important as creating our reality, could be fundamentally simple. This resistance manifests in several ways. When people first encounter the simplicity of quantum manifestation, their mind often automatically rejects it with thoughts like, "If it were that simple, everyone would be doing it," or "There must be more to it than that," or "This is too good to be true." This automatic rejection is a form of self-sabotage that keeps us trapped in patterns of complication and excessive effort. It's more comfortable to believe we need complex techniques because it gives us a sense of control and allows us to avoid the vulnerability of trusting something so simple. But the truth is that nature's most powerful processes are often the simplest. Plant growth is an incredibly complex process at the cellular level, but from the plant's perspective, it's simply a matter of following its essential nature. The heart beats billions of times during a lifetime without us needing to consciously think about it. The sun rises every day through unimaginably complex nuclear processes, but for us, it's simply a natural and reliable experience. Similarly, manifestation may be a complex quantum process at levels we don't fully understand. But from the manifestor's perspective, It can be as simple as maintaining alignment and allowing nature to take its course. Resistance to simplicity also arises from what we can call complexity addiction. Many people have become addicted to the feeling of constantly learning, growing, and working on themselves. They get a sense of identity and purpose from always being in the process of improvement. The idea that they already have everything they need to manifest can be threatening to this identity. This complexity addiction is often fueled by the personal development industry, which has a financial interest in keeping people believing they need more courses, more techniques, more information. There's no money in telling people they're already perfect and that manifestation is naturally simple. Another source of resistance is fear of responsibility. If manifestation is truly simple, it means we're more responsible for our current reality than we'd like to admit. It's more comfortable to believe our current situation is the result of complex circumstances beyond our control than to accept it might be the result of simple vibrational patterns we can change. This resistance to responsibility is understandable, especially if you've been through difficult or traumatic experiences. The idea that you created your reality can feel like blame or judgment. But quantum manifestation isn't about blame. It's about empowerment. It's about recognizing that if you have the power to create unconsciously, you also have the power to create consciously. To overcome resistance to simplicity, it's helpful to start with small experiments. Instead of trying to manifest huge life changes immediately, practice with small things that have no emotional charge. Manifest a parking space, a specific song on the radio, or running into a friend. These small manifestations can help you build confidence in the simplicity of the process. It's also important to distinguish between simplicity and ease. Something can be simple in concept, but still require practice and refinement. Playing piano is conceptually simple. You press keys to make music, but mastering piano takes years of practice. Similarly, quantum manifestation is conceptually simple, but developing mastery and maintaining consistent alignment can take time and practice. The difference is that with quantum manifestation, you're not trying to master complex external techniques. You're learning to return to your natural state of alignment and receptivity. It's more like remembering something you always knew than learning something completely new. Another way to overcome resistance to simplicity is to observe examples of powerful simplicity in other areas of life. The greatest artists often create deeply moving works through simple means. The best teachers explain complex concepts in simple, understandable ways. The most effective leaders often have simple, clear messages. Simplicity isn't the absence of depth. It's clarity of essence. When you remove everything that's unnecessary, what remains is often more powerful, not less. It's also helpful to recognize that resistance to simplicity is often a form of procrastination. It's easier to keep studying and learning about manifestation than to actually practice the simple principles consistently. Studying gives a sense of progress without the vulnerability of actually trying and possibly failing. But quantum manifestation isn't something you can fail at, because you're always manifesting. The only question is whether you're manifesting consciously or unconsciously, intentionally or by default. To truly embrace the simplicity of quantum manifestation, you need to be willing to release the need to appear sophisticated or special. You need to be willing to trust something that might seem too simple to your conditioned mind. You need to be willing to experiment with the possibility that the most powerful thing you can do is also the simplest. This requires a form of courage, the courage to trust simplicity in a world that values complexity, the courage to be vulnerable enough to try something that might not work the way you expect, and the courage to take responsibility for your creative capacity. But when you find that courage and embrace simplicity, you discover that manifestation becomes not just more effective, but also more enjoyable. You stop fighting against life and start dancing with it. You stop trying to control the universe and start collaborating with it. And in that collaboration, you discover that you always had the power to create the life you desire. You just needed to remember how to use that power in a simple, natural, and joyful way. Now that we've explored the simplicity of quantum manifestation and the resistances that prevent us from embracing it, let's address a crucial, practical question: how to integrate this understanding into your daily life so it becomes your new natural way of being, rather than just another technique you practice occasionally. Successful integration of quantum manifestation requires what I call a lived paradigm shift. Not just an intellectual change in how you think about manifestation, but a fundamental transformation in how you experience and navigate everyday reality. The first aspect of this integration is developing what we can call continuous manifestational awareness. This means recognizing that you're always in the process of manifestation, not just during specific moments of visualization or practice. Every thought, every emotion, every choice is to be part of the continuous process of creating your reality. This awareness transforms mundane activities into alignment opportunities. When you're washing dishes, you can practice gratitude for the abundance that allows you to have food to eat and utensils to clean. When you're in traffic, you can practice patience and trust instead of frustration and resistance. When you're interacting with other people, you can practice seeing the best in them, knowing this influences how they respond to you. This approach makes manifestation a way of life rather than a separate activity. You don't need to set aside special time to do manifestation, because you're always consciously participating in the creation process. The second aspect is developing what I call vibrational responsiveness. This means becoming sensitive to changes in your vibrational state and learning to make quick adjustments when you notice you're out of alignment. For example, if you notice you're feeling anxious about money, instead of trying to suppress the anxiety or force positive thoughts, you can simply acknowledge, "I'm feeling anxiety about money right now. This is creating a scarcity vibration. How can I gently shift to a more aligned vibration?" You can then consciously choose to focus on something you're grateful for. Remember times when your needs were met, or simply breathe deeply and trust that everything is working out for your highest good. This vibrational responsiveness prevents small misalignments from becoming prolonged patterns of resistance. It's like making small steering adjustments while driving, rather than waiting until you're completely off course. The third aspect is cultivating what I call experiential faith. This is different from blind faith or wishful hope. It's a confidence that arises from repeatedly observing how the universe responds to your alignment and how things work out when you trust the process. To develop experiential faith, start documenting small manifestations and synchronicities in your life. Keep a journal of moments when you were aligned and things flowed easily, when you received exactly what you needed at the right time, when solutions appeared in unexpected ways. Reviewing these experiences regularly strengthens your confidence in the process and makes it easier to maintain alignment during challenging periods. You develop a solid foundation of personal evidence that the universe is indeed responsive and benevolent. The fourth aspect is practicing what I call engaged detachment. This means staying deeply committed to your desires and visions while remaining flexible about how they manifest. You care deeply, but you're not attached to specific outcomes. This delicate balance is one of the most important skills in quantum manifestation. Too much detachment can lead to passivity and lack of direction. Too much attachment can create resistance and anxiety. The sweet spot is a state of passionate commitment combined with relaxed trust. To practice engaged detachment, keep your vision alive and vibrant in your mind and heart, but regularly release it to the universe with an attitude of this or something better. Trust that if something doesn't manifest exactly as you imagined, it's because something even better is on its way. The fifth aspect is developing what I call timing intelligence. This means learning to recognize when it's time to act and when it's time to wait, when to push and when to allow, when to speak and when to remain silent. The universe has its own rhythms and cycles, and learning to synchronize with these rhythms makes manifestation much more effective and less stressful. Sometimes the right action is to wait patiently. Other times it's to move quickly when an opportunity presents itself. Developing timing intelligence requires practicing listening to your intuition and observing the signs the universe is sending through circumstances, synchronicities, and your own inner guidance. The sixth aspect is cultivating what I call vibrational generosity. This means radiating the qualities you want to receive: love, abundance, joy, peace, regardless of your current circumstances. When you're genuinely generous with your positive energy, you create a vibrational field that naturally attracts positive experiences. You become a magnet for the qualities you radiate. This doesn't mean faking positive feelings when you don't genuinely feel them. It means consciously choosing to focus on the positive qualities you can authentically access in any given moment. The seventh aspect is practicing what I call anticipatory celebration. This means finding ways to celebrate and enjoy the manifestation process, not just the final results. When you can find joy in the journey itself, in the excitement of new possibilities, the satisfaction of personal growth, the beauty of synchronicities, you maintain a high vibration that accelerates manifestations. Anticipatory celebration also includes recognizing and appreciating incremental progress. Instead of waiting until a manifestation is 100% complete to feel good about it, celebrate each step along the way. Finally, the eighth aspect is developing what I call gentle mastery. This means becoming skilled at quantum manifestation without becoming rigid or obsessive about it. Gentle mastery is characterized by relaxed competence, humble confidence, and effortless effectiveness. You know how to align and manifest, but you use this skill with lightness and wisdom. This includes knowing when to actively apply manifestation principles and when to simply live your life and trust that everything is working out perfectly. Not every situation requires conscious manifestational intervention. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is simply be present and allow life to unfold naturally. When you integrate these 8 aspects into your daily life, quantum manifestation becomes your natural way of being in the world. You're no longer doing manifestation as a separate activity. You're living as a naturally creative and receptive being who is in constant dialogue with an intelligent and responsive universe. This integration takes time and practice, but each small step toward this way of being makes your life more fluid, more joyful, and more aligned with your highest possibilities. You discover that you can navigate challenges with more grace, seize opportunities with more confidence, and create positive changes with more ease than you ever imagined possible. As we reach the end of this exploration of quantum manifestation, it's important to address a reality many people face: resistance from others when you begin living according to these principles. Because when you embrace the simplicity of authentic manifestation and start experiencing more ease and flow in your life, not everyone around you will understand or support this change. This external resistance can come from various sources and manifest in several ways. Family and friends who are accustomed to you struggling and striving may become confused or even threatened when you start operating from a place of greater alignment and ease. They may interpret your new approach as laziness, irresponsibility, or magical thinking. Coworkers who are used to a culture of stress and excessive effort may see your new tranquility and efficiency as lack of commitment. They may question whether you're really trying if you don't seem stressed or overwhelmed. Even other personal development practitioners may resist your simplified approach, especially if they're invested in more complex methods or derive identity from mastering elaborate techniques. This external resistance can be challenging because it can make you question whether you're on the right path. When people around you are constantly questioning your new approach, it's natural to start doubting yourself, especially if you're still building confidence in the simplicity of quantum manifestation. It's important to understand that this resistance often isn't really about you or your methods. It's about the discomfort other people feel when confronted with a different way of being that challenges their own beliefs about how life should be lived. When you live with ease and alignment, you unconsciously challenge others' belief that life must be difficult. When you manifest things with relative ease, you challenge others' belief that they must struggle for everything. When you maintain inner peace amid challenging circumstances, you challenge others' belief that stress and worry are appropriate responses to problems. This isn't a conscious or malicious dynamic. It's simply a natural human response to what seems like a threat to an established belief system. People often feel more comfortable when others around them operate according to the same rules and limitations they've accepted for themselves. To navigate this external resistance with grace, the first principle is not to try to convince others of the validity of your approach. Attempts to evangelize or prove you're right often create more resistance and can make you appear defensive or arrogant. Instead, simply live your truth with authenticity and let your results speak for themselves. When people consistently see that you're happier, more successful, and more at peace, some of them will naturally become curious about your approach. Those who are ready to learn will ask. Those who aren't ready will continue resisting, and that's okay. The second principle is maintaining compassion for those who resist your new way of being. Remember that you probably once operated according to the same paradigms of excessive effort and complication. Their resistance isn't about you, it's about their own fears, limitations, and conditioning. When you maintain compassion instead of judgment, you avoid creating conflict dynamics that can drain your energy and destabilize your alignment. You can acknowledge that each person is on their own journey and has their own timing for awakening to different possibilities. The third principle is establishing healthy energetic boundaries. This doesn't mean cutting off relationships or avoiding people who don't understand your approach, but it means consciously protecting your energy and alignment when you're around low-frequency vibration. You can do this through simple practices like conscious breathing, energetic protection visualization, or simply internally reminding yourself of your truth when others are questioning it. You can also limit the time you spend discussing your methods with people who are consistently critical or negative. The fourth principle is finding or creating community with people who understand and support your journey. This can be through online groups, local workshops, or simply cultivating deeper relationships with people in your life who are open to growth and possibility. Having a support network of people who get it can provide validation and encouragement when you're facing resistance from other areas of your life. It can also help you continue refining and deepening your practice through shared conversations and experiences. The fifth principle is using resistance as an opportunity to strengthen your own conviction and clarity. When others question your approach, it can force you to articulate more clearly why you choose to live this way and what benefits you're experiencing. This articulation can deepen your own understanding and commitment to quantum manifestation principles. It can also help you identify areas where you might need more clarity or development. The sixth principle is remaining flexible and open to valid feedback. While it's important not to let external resistance derail you from your truth, it's also important to remain humble and open to the possibility that some criticism may contain useful insights. If multiple people are expressing similar concerns about your approach, it might be worth honestly examining whether there's any validity to their observations. Perhaps you've become too passive in some areas, or maybe you're using spiritual principles to avoid practical responsibilities. The balance is in considering feedback without allowing it to undermine your confidence in the fundamental principles you know work. The seventh principle is remembering that your journey isn't about proving anything to anyone, including yourself. It's about living according to your highest truth and creating the most authentic and joyful life possible. When you maintain this focus, you become less reactive to external resistance because you're not seeking external validation for your choices. You're operating from an internal authority that's based on your own experience and discernment. Finally, the eighth principle is trusting that your way of being in the world is serving a greater purpose, even when you can't see it clearly. When you live with alignment and authenticity, you're modeling a different possibility for others, even if they don't consciously recognize it in the moment. Your peaceful presence may calm others without them realizing why. Your confidence may inspire others to question their own limitations. Your joy may remind others of possibilities they've forgotten. You may never know the full impact of living your truth, but you can trust that you're contributing to the elevation of collective consciousness simply by being who you truly are. Navigating external resistance is a natural part of the personal and spiritual growth journey. Every person who chooses to live according to higher principles faces this challenge to some degree. The key is remembering that you're not trying to change others. You're simply choosing to live according to your own highest truth. When you do this with consistency, compassion, and authenticity, you discover that external resistance gradually diminishes. Some people become curious and open. Others simply get used to your new way of being. And some may choose to distance themselves, creating space for more aligned relationships to enter your life. As we conclude this deep exploration of quantum manifestation, it's important to recognize that what we've discussed isn't just a collection of techniques or concepts, but an invitation to a fundamentally different way of existing in the world. It's an invitation to return to your essential nature as a creative, receptive being infinitely connected to the universe's intelligence. The irony of quantum manifestation is that it's simultaneously the simplest and most revolutionary thing you can learn. It's simple because it's based on natural principles that already operate in your life. It's revolutionary because fully embracing these principles completely transforms your experience of reality. When you truly understand that you're always manifesting, that the universe is fundamentally responsive to your vibration, and that you have the power to consciously choose your experience through internal alignment, it changes everything. You move from a victim position to a conscious creator position. You move from a sense of separation to a sense of connection. You move from an experience of struggle to an experience of flow. But this transformation doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen through intellectual understanding alone. It requires consistent practice, compassionate patience with yourself, and willingness to keep choosing alignment even when it's challenging. There will be days when you forget everything you've learned and return to old patterns of excessive effort and resistance. There will be moments when you doubt whether quantum manifestation is real or if you're just deluding yourself. There will be periods when it seems easier to return to familiar ways of struggle and control. This is all part of the process. Each time you recognize you've fallen out of alignment and consciously choose to return, you strengthen your ability to live according to these principles. Each small manifestation you experience builds your confidence in the process. Each moment of flow and ease reminds you of what's possible. The journey of mastering quantum manifestation isn't about reaching a state of perfection where you never struggle or face challenges again. It's about developing the ability to quickly return to alignment when you notice you've left it. It's about building a foundation of trust in the universe that remains stable even when external circumstances are turbulent. It's also about remembering that you're not taking this journey alone. You're part of a growing community of people who are awakening to these possibilities. Each person who chooses to live with more alignment and authenticity contributes to a greater shift in human consciousness. Your personal journey with quantum manifestation is simultaneously about creating the most joyful and authentic life possible for you, and about contributing to a world where more people can experience ease, abundance, and connection. As you continue to explore and apply these principles, remember that simplicity is your friend. When you find yourself complicating the process, return to the basics: clarity about what you want, emotional alignment with your desires, and permission for them to manifest in their own perfect timing. Trust your natural ability to create. Trust the universe's benevolence. Trust that you deserve to live a life of joy, abundance, and fulfillment. And trust that by embracing the simplicity of quantum manifestation, you're not only transforming your own life, but also contributing to the transformation of the world. Quantum manifestation is simple because it's natural. It's powerful because it's aligned with the universe's fundamental laws. And it's accessible to you now because you already possess everything you need to practice it effectively. All that remains is the choice to embrace this simplicity, release the need for complication, and allow your natural creative nature to flourish. The universe is waiting to dance with you. All you need to do is remember the steps you always knew and allow life's music to guide you. Your conscious manifestation journey begins now, in this moment, with your next breath, your next thought, your next choice of alignment. It's simple, it's powerful, and it's completely possible for you. The universe is conspiring in your favor. Trust the process, embrace simplicity, and allow the magic of quantum manifestation to transform your life in ways you haven't even imagined possible.